All right, if you're like me, you want a cost-effective live streaming setup. Now, if this was me about a year ago, I wanted to be able to live stream and it actually look pretty decent, not just from a webcam on my computer, and I also wanted to help my church out with live streaming, and my pastor in particular, so he could live stream from home. He could do it from right in his office, and because he is my pastor, so in the same house, it'd be very easy just to load all the equipment up there and bring it back down here for my videos and my live streams. So I wanted a good live streaming setup, and there were lots of great YouTubers out there like Churchfront with Jake Goslin and worship tutorials that had great videos on great live streaming awesome live streaming setups, especially for churches. But I didn't have $10,000 to spend on a live streaming setup. I had a few thousand, which was miraculous as it is for a teenager too, you know. I was surprised that I was able to get that much, but I wasn't able to go with their suggestions. So this is what I went with. Welcome to my whole live streaming setup. Now, I've been doing a little bit of a room tour series here lately, and those of you that have been subscribed, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not subscribed yet, now's the time to go ahead and do that, because we're going to dive deep into live streaming today, especially for pastors who want to kind of start a show or a podcast, something along those lines, which I think everyone should be doing now, especially during the lockdown and the pandemic. So that's what we're going to be discussing today. My whole live streaming setup that all in all comes to about under $3,000 or so. So this is a very budget-friendly and cost-effective live streaming setup. So let's go ahead and jump into the video. Let's do it. Well, how's it going, everybody? Evan Taddeo here, bringing you more media tips and tools for churches. Remember to subscribe if you haven't already. I'm excited about today's video because we're going to be talking about my whole live streaming setup, my camera, my lights, my computer, my microphone, everything that goes into this. I'm going to be sharing with you. These are my trade secrets, basically. I mean, there's a lot more that goes into a live stream than just the equipment, but it's a great place to start, and so that's where we will be starting today. Now, in case you're new to the channel, I did just do a live stream the last Saturday of recording this video, at least, which I will link up right there. I talked about social media for churches. It's a whole content strategy for churches, and really, I can go deeper in that, and I will later on the channel, but I really want you to watch that if you're stuck on the social media end of things and if you don't know how to get a deeper reach. But I guess we should go ahead and start getting into the equipment side of things, because I know that that's what many of you are here for. So to start off, you tune into a video like this, you want to know what camera I'm using. Basically, that's the first question I get. So I'll go ahead and tell you that, but first, that is not the most important piece of gear in your setup. The camera is... You don't want to invest thousands of dollars into a camera and $10 on a computer. It's basically what I'm saying. So I'll be talking more about that later on in this video. So make sure you stay tuned for that. But the camera that I use is the Sony a6400. I put a small rig cage around it too. Now, everything is linked up in the description below if you want to go and check out everything. Now, the B-roll you're seeing was shot on my phone, my Samsung S20 Ultra, because I'm using my main camera to record this video. So I wasn't sure exactly how to get video of a camera with that camera. So just bear with me for a second there. So yes, I use the Sony a6400. Great camera. The 4K is great. I don't really like the 1080. So what I do is I put the camera set on 4K. It goes to my streaming software, which I'll talk about later on in this video. I put it in 4K, and it downgrades the quality a little bit, but it still looks pretty good, especially in the live stream. So that's why I kind of stream in 4K. I'll talk more about that when I get to vmix and my streaming software, which is very important. But Sony a6400, great looking camera. I use the Sony the Sony E-mount Sigma lens. It's a 1.4 aperture. It's 16 millimeter. I'm using that one right now. It looks great. Gives me a great depth of field. For those of you who don't know what that means blurry background. So the background looks nice and blurry. That's pretty good. It's good to have that wide open lens there. And then a second lens that I use sometimes for my pastor when we're traveling is the Rokinon 135mm t2.2 lens. Now this thing is a beast. This is not for run and gun shooting, I would say. Good for photography, taking pictures, really good with that. It's good with video too, but as long as the video isn't moving, because there is a lot of... It's not stabilized, so it has to, basically you need to be on a tripod, not moving, which works for some gigs, so good lens for that, good in dark scenarios too, so in case we're in a poorly lit room, we're pretty good because the aperture is t2.2, which is like, yeah, something f-stop. You don't need to be a camera geek to know all about that. You don't need to know all that for live streaming. Just You will at some point, but right now you're good. It's okay if you don't understand what I'm saying. In fact, let me know in the comments, do you understand what I'm saying? Well, next up, the tripod I'm using for the camera is the Geekoto tripod. This is the best tripod I've ever owned. It has fluid motion. In fact, let me show you this. If I can unscrew it. There we go. So that's how smooth it moves back and forth, which I really like. Let me recenter it. There we go. Because most tripods, for just setting it there without paying more than $100, most of them are jittery whenever you're moving them side to side. So it's very good to have a tripod that doesn't do that. This is very great for traveling, again, with my pastor, in case he is on the road or something and he's moving around. That way I can follow him. Again, not with this lens, though. You don't want to do it with this lens, but it's still a good lens. Still a good lens. All right, on to the next thing. The capture card that I'm using. Now, some of you might not understand what a capture card is. That's totally okay. Let me go ahead and briefly explain it. So to attach a DSLR camera to a computer, you need something that connects it to the computer, basically. You've got to run an HDMI cable into a USB port. And it took me a while to figure this out, but you need a capture card, all right? Now, don't go getting 100 foot of HDMI cable. HDMI does slow down. Once you get to around 100 feet or so, you might want to go to SRT, I think is what it's called, or STI, one of the two. I haven't needed to get into that. My camera's right next to my computer, so I have about 5 foot of HDMI. And then I plug it into my Camlink 4K capture card. Now, whenever I bought this several years ago, it was before the lockdown, so the price has gone up a little bit due to demand. So right now, again, you can check out the link in the description if you want to view it on Amazon and see more reviews about it. So the price has gone up a little bit, but it's still a great capture card. Another capture card I'm testing out is $15. I'll leave that in the description too. Maybe you just want to go ahead and purchase that just for the fun of it to see how it works. It is for just 1080 camera, so I couldn't input 4K into here. So it's just for 1080 up to 60, I think, 60 frames per second. So maybe that's a capture card worth looking into. I'm still doing some testing on it. Not completely sure about it yet, but you can go ahead and get it if you'd like and try out that capture card. But if you are looking for a multicam setup, I would say don't get the Camlink 4K unless you have lots of USB ports, I guess, but that would run down the computer's CPU and GPU and all that stuff a lot. So I would recommend investing in some Blackmagic stuff if you want multiple camera angles that all of them look good. Some like Blackmagic, I don't even remember what all of them are called. Again, there's stuff linked in the description below. Once I'm done shooting this video, I'll think, oh, that was the name of it. You know how it is. So go ahead and check out the description below to check out those things. The Blackmagic has some great stuff that allows you to connect lots of different cameras to a computer without running down the computer speed. What it does is it moves the processing power from the computer to another box, so that way all that power is happening in the box and not on the computer, which saves a lot of the CPU, and it keeps the computer from having to work that hard for that many 4K camera inputs. So you want the Blackmagic thing if you want several camera angles, but if you're like me, you just need one. This is the perfect setup. You save hundreds of dollars by doing this. Pretty helpful, pretty helpful. But on to the next one. The computer. Now, this is an Asus ZenBook Pro Duo, one of the best investments I've ever made, because this computer is a very expensive computer, all right? I got it for around $2,900 or somewhere around there, and it was totally worth it because the computer I had before was 8 gigabytes of RAM. It had a terabyte solid-state drive, which helped a little bit with the speeds, but it would take me 16 hours to download a 5-minute video in 1080. Way too long. This computer, it would take a 5-minute 1080 video probably 5 minutes to download. Maybe not even that. Maybe 3 minutes. So definitely worth it. And it has an overclock function, which I really like. And you really need a good computer for live streaming. I would recommend at least 32 gigabytes of RAM. A good solid state drive is very helpful. This one has internal fans, which help with the heating because it's doing a lot, and of course CPU. So this computer, basically, I would say go ahead and get this one. Don't skimp out on the computer. If you're going to skimp out on anything, skimp out on the camera and get a better computer, because the camera you can always upgrade later. Computers, you probably want to stick with one for as long as possible, and this is a solid computer. I mean, like made out of steel. It's great. I mean, the webcam in it actually looks pretty good too. It's not too bad. So very good computer there. Quick little review. Asus ZenBook Pro Duo. Thank you. What's your names again? Let's see. Harmon and Carden. Harman and Kardon, thank you guys so much for inventing this beautiful machine. And it has that dual screen, so whenever I am creating a thumbnail or something, that makes it so easy for me to draw an outline around someone's head, like a white outline, if you know what I mean. It makes it so easy to do that. So thank you, Asus, for doing that for us. There's a link in the description to check out this computer. On to the next thing, vmix. This is my streaming software. In fact, let me go ahead and show you kind of what I'm looking at. So fun fact, I am recording this video right now through vmix. I'm not recording it onto my camera. I am recording it through vmix. I don't have the 4K or Pro version. I have the HD version. So it doesn't look as good as it could if I had that, which hopefully I will upgrade soon. But the HD version that I have right now is around $350, somewhere in there. Again, there's a link in the description to go check it out. But starting off, you can just get the basic plan for $60. Now, this is a one-time payment. They didn't pay me to say this. vmix is so worth it. One-time payment for a software that is dependable, all right? Now, you do need a good computer to work it because it takes up a lot of power. I mean, you need to expect that from a good streaming software, but it's so good. It looks so good. In fact, let me re-straighten the camera because I just realized whenever I did that demonstration earlier, I was not straight again. Okay, so vmix is very helpful. I'm recording this video using vmix. So if we're looking at this, you've got your preview monitor and your output monitor. So this is what's going out. This is what is coming in, whatever you select. Like if I selected this one, that's what's going to pop up there. If I selected this one, it's going to pop up there. So I've got my camera here. The CamLink 4K is what it showed up as because the camera is attached to the computer through that capture card, the CamLink 4K, and I can close the window. I can attach audio to it, so if there's audio coming into the same device, the CamLink 4K, it will pick it up, which is very, very helpful. I can turn on and off the audio clicking this, and there's a lot more buttons here, which I will just let you figure out once you get it. I've got a song here, it's called Wanderer, which is that funky beat you hear at the beginning of every video. Do 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 do. You know that one? That's what's there. So it's very, very good right there. And this is my audio line for my SM58 mics, which I'll be talking about in a minute. That's the audio line for that. And also a little picture here. So this is a snapshot I took in vmix. By clicking this button, I was able to take a picture of the output monitor. So that could be my thumbnail. Makes it super easy to get that. I can do my streaming settings here. I don't have access to the multi-quarter yet, which basically you can record several inputs without it just recording the output, which is if you don't understand what I'm saying, that's okay. If not, totally fine. You can turn on external. So if you want to stream straight to Zoom, you can do that. So I can have a good slideshow presentation prepared and stream straight to Zoom with awesome video quality, like the best. So very helpful. And I just turned it on just to have a cool glowing red button there. You've got your cut, your fade, your merge, your wipe, cube zoom, quick play, basically a cut. And you can change these up if you want to, which is very, very, very cool. You can tell how long I've been recording. Well, actually, you can't, but if you could, it would be right here. I can see it on my main computer, but but you can't. So that's vmix. Very, very helpful. Very good streaming software that helps me to get everything I need to get done. And I know it gets done well with good quality. It's streaming at a set quality. And I'm not going to even try to talk about streaming settings with you right now. I'm just here to talk about equipment. Maybe we'll talk about streaming settings here in the future, so make sure you subscribe for that. Again, vmix is linked up in the description below if you want to go and check them out. vmix, if you're watching, I'd love to do a partnership. just messing, but yeah, that would be kind of cool. So that is vmix. Up next is my Fovatech lights. Now these are more studio lights, not for stages, although actually at church we use them just as filler light. But Fovatech lights, they work really good. They're little square LED lights. Well, they're not very little. They're about a foot by, maybe a little more than a foot by a foot, maybe about right there. And it does warmer temperature, and you can change it over to cooler temperature. So this is like, straight daylight or so, something around there, and that is warmer. So I've got my main light, my key light coming in right here, pretty hot, with a softbox, a Fovatech softbox, which is very important to get just to make the lighting look really good. It makes the light a lot softer. And then I've got kind of a hair light or a fill light coming in right here, it's a 2-pack. So you've got main light, fill light. And then back there, I've got my little 2-pack for $60 LED lights. amazing lights. I've done a video about them. Many of you have actually bought them already and told me how awesome they are. So I'll leave that link up in the video right there so you can go and check out those lights in depth. They're worth it. I've gotten 2 packs so far. I have 4 total. I'm going to get some more soon probably. I'm going to get some more of those lights soon. And you can do any color you want. Like, so you see they're behind me. Let me turn on my Bluetooth real fast. Take me just a second. I'm going into the Mesh Mesh Lamp app, excuse me. So I'm going to choose all devices. I'm going to hit Control. Bam. I actually kind of like that. Looks pretty nice. I can do purple, red, orange, which is close to what I had a second ago, yellow, green, and the color that I like the most is probably about right there. That's about it. That's about perfect. And my couch bed right there, which I've already talked a little bit about. Y'all don't need to know about the couch bed though. You're here for equipment. And for audio is up next. So I've got my PreSonus Audio Box i2 little box that connects my microphones to my computer. Now, if you have a soundboard already, that might be what you want to use, but I'll leave the link to this in the description below anyway, because you gotta somehow get this mic to attach to the computer. So that's a good way to do it, and it works really well. It's got 2 inputs, so I can add 2 mics, and I have done a live stream with my pastor before, which I'm showing you a little bit of that video right now.
Here's where they are. Here's where God wants us to be. Now, how do we lead them to that place?
Yeah.
How do we build up to that and not just sever the connection? Because it is easily severed.
Yeah.
Easily severed.
And so that works both ways. So
Yeah.
if they're going further than you have to meet them there, like you said, and bring them back. So first, how do you detect that? How do you detect there's a good bit of emotionalism going on, and it's not as much a spirit as it is just.
It's the answer to 1,000 questions. You're just be led, or you're led by the Holy Spirit that this is something that needs to be reined in a little bit.
And it worked very good. I mean, 2 of these SM58 microphones, which are just tried and true, nice and tested microphones. I got some little ugly looking clown noses, is what my dad calls them. No, they work really good for pops. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. They work really good for that. And I got this thing, but to be real honest, I don't like it. It doesn't stay in spot. I mean, I need it to be about right here, which I could adjust it more, but it's not going to stay there. So I'll look at another one. Let y'all know about that again later. So that's kind of my audio setup. I also use my Rode Video Mic Pro Plus. So that's a really good mic for live streaming too. I connect it to my camera, and the audio goes through the HDMI cable into the Camlink 4K. And it's very easy to set up the audio in vmix, and you can edit the audio in vmix. You can edit the EQ, you can edit the gain, you can put a compressor on it. So awesome. vmix, you go buddies. All right, and next is my pluggable display link extra USB ports. This is very important. And before I talk about it, please like this video, share it with your friends, and comment down below what questions you have. Do you have a setup already? Let me know in the comments what camera you use, if any camera at all, or what lights you use. Just pick out a piece of gear and let me know what it is in the comments section below. That's the question of the day. Might as well go ahead and give that away. The question of the day is, what piece of equipment do you use that you like the most? Is it the camera? Is it the lens? Is it the microphone? Is it the lights? Is it the computer? Is it vmix? Obviously, it's going to be vmix, but you can go ahead and let me know in the comments section below. But yes, I needed this pluggable thing because I ran out of USB ports. This computer is great, but it only has 2 USB 3.0 ports, which is great. I mean, it still works really good. I mean, I got 2. That's all I really need, especially with this pluggable thing, which has 2 extra USB 3.0 ports, and then 4 USB 2.0 ports, an HDMI, a DVI, and a landline, so I can go straight into my Wi-Fi router, which I haven't even spent any time in this video talking about Wi-Fi because that's a beast, all right? You need good Wi-Fi. If you want to be live streaming, you need good Wi-Fi. Like, it's got to be good and stable. At least 10 megapixels per second upload speed. You can do a speed test. I'll leave a link to do a speed test in the comments, not in the comments, in the description of this video below, so you can do a speed test and see how your and see how your Wi-Fi connects. And see how fast your Wi-Fi actually is and how it kind of compares with 10 megapixels per second. Ours is about 30 megapixels per second. So we have plenty and like 230-something download speeds, which is pretty good. But you want good upload speed because otherwise you're not going to live stream. You're just going to download stuff. So don't want to do that. Whoa. I think that's pretty much it. I also have my monitor over here for monitoring comments, so I can respond to people and communicate and really get some interaction going on, which again I've talked about in my social media videos for churches on here. Pastors need to be engaging with their online audience. How would you feel if you walked into a church for the first time and no one spoke to you? You walked in, you're like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'll go and sit down, and you hear the pastor speak, and you're about to leave, but you're waiting and giving people a chance to talk to you, shake your hand, ask you what your name is, and nobody does that. That's kind of what we've been doing with our online audience, so I want to change that. In fact, my pastor's YouTube channel is about to pass 100,000 subscribers in just 2 years of growing. In the past month, we've had more than 2 million views. So I think the practices that I've been putting in have been working. So if you want to know how to do just that, be sure to subscribe and never miss an upload. Ding that bell so you get notified anytime I go live every single Saturday at around 4 o'clock. It can't be the same every Saturday because I've got work on Saturdays too. So it's around 4 o'clock, somewhere in there, every single Saturday, where I talk social media, I talk tech, I talk music. It just gets fun up in here. You want to be there for the Q&A session too. But I think that's pretty much it. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Again, my name is Evan DiDio, bringing you some more media tips and tools for churches. If you are new to this channel, please consider subscribing, liking this video, and comment below if you have any questions. And remember, the question of the day is, what piece of equipment do you like the most, whether it's one of mine or one of yours that you use? So let me know that in the comments. I might have to do like a shout out in the next video or something to talk about that. But yeah, this is part 3 in my room tour series. Let me know if you've been watching every single video and keeping up. I'm going to do a mega video. Be sure you subscribe for that. But I will see you in the next video. It's time to go ahead and stop this video. I got to go drink some water and watch some Little House on the Prairie with the family. So I'll see you in a little bit. Peace.